Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's episode, we're talking about one of the hidden jewels in the Gulf region, Oman.
Oman is located in the southeastern part of the Arabian Peninsula. It borders Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Yemen, and has a long coastline along the Arabian Sea and the Gulf of Oman.
Unlike some of its neighbors, Oman is known for its mountainous landscapes, vast deserts, and stunning coastline. The capital city, Muscat, is a blend of tradition and modernity with beautiful mosques, souks, and a rich history.
The majority of Omanis follow Ibadi Islam, a school of thought that is not widely practiced in other Muslim countries. More on this later.
The country also has a diverse mix of people. While Omanis make up most of the population, there are many expatriates from South Asia, Africa, and other Arab countries who live and work there. So now let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the Ibadi sect in Oman. I'll tell a story. Some years back, Brother Hamza and I, we went to Zanzibar. We went to visit first. We thought that it would be a good place to relocate for Hijrah. What we found out is that Zanzibar has a rich history with Oman. And what you'll find there is the local people, and then you'll find the Arabs. Another thing we discovered when we went to pray is that there's something called Ibadiyya, which is a school of thought that the locals generally don't practice. The locals are Sunni, Shafi'i, madhab on Zanzibar. But the Omanis generally are Ibadiyya, and we can discuss further about that because that's definitely an issue that people brought up in the comments. So we can give more information on that now.
The Ibadiyya are named after its founder, Abdullah ibn Ibad al-Tamimi. Abdullah lived during the time of Muawiyah and passed away towards the end of Abdul Malik ibn Marwan.
The Ibadi school of thought emerged in Basra, founded by Imam Jabir bin Zayd. He focused his efforts on education and development, resulting in a broad base of followers who were convinced with his views and principles.
The Ibadiyya was attributed to Abdullah bin Ibad because he openly declared political positions with which he confronted the Umayyad caliphates, especially Abdul Malik bin Marwan. The Ibadis themselves reject their affiliation with the Khawarij.
The reason for the connection with the Khawarij started while the extremist Khawarij were carrying out their revolutions and movements against the Umayyads. A group of them took to the city of Basra as their headquarters, choosing peace and not resorting to the sword or violence to impose their views. This group formed the seed of what would later become known in Islamic history as the Ibadiyya.
It then spread in Oman following the remnants of the Khawarij during the Umayyad period.
If you really want to know if the Ibadiyya are from the Khawarij or not, it would require examining their statements from their original sources, approved books, and the words of their contemporary scholars. This is not for the average person. For common people and beginner students, it'd be better to consult a person of knowledge you trust on this issue. Now, with that behind us, I would argue that that's not really that important. It's interesting to know, but not really that important because the whole southern part of Oman is Sunni. And many people don't talk about it, I guess because many people don't know it. But you can go there, go to Salalah. We went to Salalah, and Salalah is 100% Sunni. And then, of course, you have foreigners that are there that will make up even more of the Sunni population that people really don't talk about. So Oman itself is, they say, 35 to 45% Sunni and 45% Ibadiyya. So that being the case, if you decided that you wanted to move to Oman, you can completely avoid that issue by just going to the south of the country and living with amongst the Sunnis in the Sunni cities. To get your consultation from people on the ground in the Muslim world, go to consultation.makehijrah.com. There's a group for Oman on WhatsApp that we'll put the link in the description, inshallah. And then they've also developed a guide that details this information on how to get residency, the different types of residency, education,
Day-to-day
medical
living,
care.
cost, medical.
So that is detailed in this documentation. So anybody that's really interested, you can go into the link in the description and join the group and gain access to the Omani guide. Normally, if you have a U.S. passport or a U.K. passport or any Western passport, you can basically just enter into the countries in many cases. Some cases you might have to get a E visa or something like that, but in my experience, you're just able to go in. When you enter into Oman, you automatically get 14 days, and that was kind of the lowest amount of days that from any other country we visited. You get about 2 weeks. Another thing about Salalah, just for more information, is that it's a destination during the fall season, because the mountains become green. You start to see, the waterfalls and the natural beauty that Salalah has to offer. So during that time, you find a lot of different Arabs in particular coming from different countries in the Gulf to visit Salalah.
Yeah, so the first day we rested up, and I remember the brother coming over to pick us up. The brother speaking only in Arabic. Funny enough, when he came, we were still getting ready or something like that, but the receptionist called up and said, of course, there's someone out waiting for you. So alhamdulillah, we went out, we embraced the brother, and mashallah, of course, he was willing to show us around, give us the history. He knew a lot because he was ethnically Omani. So his whole family tree is going back is in Salalah. So he knew a lot about Salalah itself.
One of the first places we visited in Salalah was the integrated tourism complexes, which are called ITC areas. And in these areas, foreigners can buy, and through purchasing property in these areas, you can get residency. So normally these places, or the place that we went, is like on the water. It's built in kind of like a modern way. According to our host that took us around, he said that a lot of these places were cleared and the locals were moved into another area that was a little further from there. And these places were constructed for the purpose of for people, expats that want to come and purchase property there. And some people might say, okay, so they're moving the people away from their traditional homes and all that. But what you'll find is that when they moved them away, they gave them better places to live. And we saw those places as well. They were nice little compounds and complexes.
Really nice, yeah.
So that was the first place that we went to. We toured that area. We saw the beach and everything like that. And it's kind of interesting because it's mainly desert there, and the mountains turn green, but the rest of the area is like desert, right? And then from that desert, you have the beach. So it's an interesting landscape. Not to mention that in many countries we've been to, like you have the stray animals. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like the dogs and the cats, right? Mm-hmm. And Malaysia was different. Malaysia was like, you'll find lizards and all kind of stuff, like big lizards.
Alligator up in there.
Every country has its wildlife, right? So what I noticed in Salalah were the camels. Yeah. Like a big old camel, like it's groups of them.
A healthy camel too.
Yeah, groups of camels while you riding down the street. And then they have rules for the camels as well. Like you can't, like if you hit it, you got to pay a certain amount. Like they have rules for that. So the camels is just...
Yeah, but it was different though. They say if it's at night, if you hit it at night, then of course you don't have to pay a fine. Yeah. But if you hit it like broad daylight, they're like, nah.
Yeah, you got to pay the price of the camel. Bro. So obviously, I'm not sure if they're just wild camels, but I'm sure there's like people probably claim ownership to some of these camels because there's a lot of them. So that was an interesting thing, that you see these camels walking around.
It's not just camels. They had cows.
Yeah, we saw cows too.
They had ponies. Weird. Yeah, they had
ponies. Yeah, they did have ponies. Yeah, they had ponies. I forgot about that.
They had a gazelle too. I don't know why it was a little baby gazelle.
They just walking like they just there chilling on the path. You know what I mean? So no, that was interesting. Right. And then they have these sticks. Stick, it looked like a candy cane. You know what I'm saying? Big old candy canes. And then he had the sword too. He had the sword.
He was explaining like if you go to the mountain, if a camel try to come at him,
you got your
slap them
sword,
over the nose,
slap
like,
him or whatever. you know.
Yeah, he was like, it's protect
So-
yourself, but it's like from the wildlife. You know?
Yeah. So
not
I mean,
wild.
it's real laid back. Even they have signs that have a the
little,
knot
like,
thing
little-
with the horn in there. Like you can't blow the horn. Like they really like peace and quiet, which is funny because when we first got there, we went to the restaurant. After we rested up, we decided to check for a restaurant. We saw some other foreigners there, and we went to the restaurant. And I don't know why. Maybe we were tired, but we just clowning that whole time, just clowning, loud clowning. And the funny thing is, even though we know, even in the street, after we left, we just kept on clowning the joke. But anyway,
I don't know, what was that, Joe?
that was a Kuwaiti experience that we just was clowning at. Nothing bad about Kuwait.
I felt bad because we was in the restaurant. Some of the waiters like
yeah, they looking
thinking
at
like,
us.
yo, is the food all right? Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it was
Nah.
the thing about it is just the manners. You know,
right.
the manners of the people. They knew we were foreigners. It wasn't like some people get upset about that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, like
they
with
can
these
come over and be
foreigners
like,
going,
you know, but they didn't.
I noticed it was real quiet. Like you know, there was a big old main street right there.
Right.
Businesses, everything right there.
It wasn't really like late night.
But that's why we noticed it. We noticed it because it was like there's not really a lot of noise. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like you just hear the cars going by. You don't hear no beep beep, people yelling.
Oh yeah, right.
somebody-
They're against that.
people shopping.
They're against that. If you would like to support our productions and share in the reward, inshallah, go to fund.makehijrah.com. So then we left the restaurant and he took us around the Salalah, the old Salalah. So you have like little forts.
we went around. Yeah.
And different things that they have there. And then we went to the restaurant
Right.
and they eat a lot of camel. They eat a lot of camel meat. And camel meat is good, man.
Camel's good.
Camel's good.
real good.
So which brought us into a discussion, like a fiqh discussion. So he said, do you make wudu after you eat camel meat?
the camel, right.
And we was like, yeah, we make wudu after that. And then he said, okay, the Shafi'i, we don't make wudu. We don't. So that's not the point. The point is that brought into the discussion of this Ibadi stuff. And he made some interesting points, and anyone who's interested in Oman needs to understand these points, right? The first point is that area near the border of Yemen is almost exclusively Sunni and Shafi'i madhab. That's what that is. And the government itself, because some people say, well, the government is this, right? But the government itself prohibits anybody from the Ibadi to establish a masjid or anything in that area.
مسقط هناك صينيون هنا كل هذا صينيون ما شاء الله.
And the reason for that is because they don't want to cause any conflict. They want peace. And you'll find it's funny enough that Oman is one of those countries that are just
Yeah, they just reserved.
we're not getting into this drama that's happening here. Whether you think that's good or bad, that's up to you, however your opinion is. But what I see is that if a person, okay, let's say you're Sunni and you wanted to go to Oman, the whole Ibadiya thing is not even an issue. I faced Ibadiya. It wasn't an issue anyway, even in Zanzibar. But we encountered that more there than we did in Oman itself. Because if you want to practice, if you're traditionally Sunni or whatever, then that's you. Then do your thing. If you're Ibadi, then you can go over there for that. But these areas, Salalah in particular, are predominantly, even he say 100% Sunni. And these are big areas. It's not like that little neighborhood. It ain't like
it's a
that.
lot, man. If you look
It's the
on the
whole
map,
area.
it's huge.
Yeah, even the prayer, like it felt like you were in any other Sunni country,
Yeah, it was regular.
like Egypt,
thing.
and that joint didn't have any.
It not
didn't
one,
stick out at all.
Not one dude on the corner of the road praying with his hand down.
wasn't
It just
nothing.
wasn't there. Like,
And then even like you'll find
regular
stuff
joint.
like you'll go to places that's Sunni places, and find practices that you're not used to. You know what I'm saying? Turkey was like that. Malaysia was like that.
every
Even
place.
though the general prayer is the same. Another thing too that, and you just when you go, if you go to visit, you have to be extremely observant and just
yeah.
pay attention to what's going on, right? So in Egypt, it's common that somebody will get up like right after the prayer You taslim out and they get up and they, yeah, Gamar, we need, you know what I mean?
They like, yeah, come here. Like they aggressive, like hounds. And what I start to understand is that, yo, if you really in need, that's not your behavior. It's not gonna come out like that. Like that's way too much. Yo, just give me.
You know what?
You
remember that time?
Sometimes
You remember
like,
that time
yo,
that dude came up to you in rehab? He said, "I need medicine." Okay, man, let me buy this medicine for you, and then dude will go and sell this medicine somewhere else,
just to get the money. But I'm saying it makes you feel a certain type of way, which is wrong.
One of the kids tried to do that.
Right.
They tried to do that in Oman in the masjid. I saw an older sheikh. He came. And he was like strict about that, and he's like, sit down, and what's funny about it is that we asked the host. We said, what's going on? What happened? And he said, look, we have hospitals, we have housing, we have food. Yeah. They take care of them all the way. They don't just allow people to just go out and just beg everybody. They set up facilities for that.
Right.
They accommodate that, which you'll find, like, that's what you wonder sometimes, because you find, unfortunately, you'll find beggars that's their job. So anyway, that was something that stood out in the manners of the people. They're very traditional. Like the man, he's married, he has children. You're not going to see his wife. And it doesn't mean that women are belittled. It doesn't mean that. It just means that they protect their women. They're very traditional. You see the boys and the young men in their thobes and their head scarves, right? Coming from Quran class or coming from here, they're very quiet, very, mashallah.
I noticed you see the women, like I think like in the airport we saw a few, but they're in groups. If they are like not with their,
right.
They're in groups. So I seen the same thing with, in Saudi and in the Emirates, same thing. Like they're in groups.
Right.
But the difference is that like in Oman, you don't see them like broad day. Like, even if you in a like tourist attraction, you don't see the women.
You don't.
Which is not, ain't a problem.
No.
But it's just like you don't see them.
That's the lifestyle. But again, maybe some disadvantages to some people would be
maybe
it's slower.
It is, yeah.
They're building up. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity that is being created there for people who want to do business. Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little more. Mainly the whole idea, because a lot of people did say that it's boring. I mean, I'm talking about from people that either live there or people that just commented. They were mentioning that, okay, it's not much to do. And we did mention that, of course, Salalah is up and coming. But I did myself notice that, okay, where's the, you know what I mean, where the activities, outdoor activities, I don't think we even saw a park in terms of like a outdoor, just, swing, slides, the basics. Even I saw a football, I think a soccer field, but that it was like in the middle of the desert, like next to the mountain. It was a bit like strangely located. But
I'm gonna tell you something.
I don't, you know what I mean. I'm
gonna tell you something, because when I was growing up, most of your activities happened outside.
Right.
And I think even y'all, when y'all was growing up, but had y'all grew up like in the States, it would have been totally different, because you would have been in the video games and that you'd have grew up that way. Maybe that came later, because y'all was kind of behind with that because of because where we was living. But no, everything was out. The game thing, even
that wasn't a thing.
We had the game. But to just spend the whole day on games and all that, no.
No, but we were outside.
Y'all. So a lot of people nowadays don't even realize that that's really an issue. That that in this place, a place like Salalah, for example, is that now you have to make activities for yourself. Like the children have to go and play games and create games and all that stuff. Because we had games we played outside. We have a ball and we take that ball. And we got all kind of games just from this one ball. Can be like 10 games. You know what I mean? So, and then also that leads to being active in your life, not just sitting around and gaining weight and eating bad food and all that stuff. So I think that even though people might say it's boring, it may be boring compared to
what they.
You know, maybe what they
But you can
used
always
to do.
you can always find something.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you got the
It
beach.
requires a group, like people that's already doing
That
it,
too.
or somebody
Yeah,
to start it.
Yeah,
But you
go
need
out
it,
there,
for
play,
sure.
get you a ball, get you this, and then that's for the children. As for the adults, we don't need to. I mean, we could play soccer together, or maybe we can find a basketball court somewhere, maybe, or whatever it is.
Right.
But it's really a slower pace. You know, it's not like all these different, you know, this fun park and this that and this that. You know, so other people might feel they need that. That's a completely individual decision. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we pushing and you must go to Oman. It's not like that, man. You go where you want to. You know, whatever suits you. But that option is there. Oman is there, and the people are, mashallah, they're mashallah, very good people, I think. So like you'll go to the newer areas because you have the new Salalah, which is where they have the, you know, the stores and the new buildings.
Like a mall or something.
Yeah.
They're
And that's
good,
up
they're
and
trying
coming.
to-
It's
yeah,
up and coming. Like you would have to. I would say that that Salalah is a place. I'm talking specifically about Salalah to avoid Muscat for people that are concerned with the Ibadi thing and all that. But it's up and coming. And one of the ways that you can have residency, which we can talk about briefly, is you have buying a property and you have opening a business. And opening a business is surprisingly cheap. So there's opportunity. And now they're making it a lot easier. They're putting things in place for foreigners to come to Oman because their foreigners are already there. But usually the people are coming for working, but they're opening it up for people that want to come to do business and people that have their own. They're not coming to like earn the money from there. They're coming to contribute something, you know. So and it's good. It's a good time now to get in. You should get in. Try to get in now. If you have any intention on going to Oman, you should be trying to get in now while they're figuring out the regulations, right? So, like Brother Mustafa, when he established his business, it was a lot easier. It was almost didn't make any sense to him. Like, why is it so simple? But nowadays, as they learn, they're making things more procedures, more
background checks.
You have to try to get in sooner than later.
Right.
If you would like to take a brief survey and check your Hijrah readiness, go to hijrahtest.com. Overall, the amount of diversity you find with people that are maybe worried about like some type of racism or something like that, I didn't see it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, maybe on a level that we can't see, meaning a visitor can't check. But generally speaking, you see Omanis, they got the head wrap the same, dasher, and this one is dark, and this one is light. It reminds me of when we came in through immigration. So you have the immigration officer that stamps your passport or whatever, and then you have the guy that checks it, looks at it, right? And this dude, this guy, he could easily pass for like my uncle or somebody.
Yeah.
And then he was real cool. Like even his mannerisms were like,
he was all smiling,
he was like cool and,
up?
you know, laid back. And you're like, you know, what about this? And he's like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
So mashallah, man, the people, man, that's what stood out to me the most. The people were very, very welcoming, very warm, you know, and helpful and humble even. Like like some places you go and they might be like, they might have this arrogance aura about them. But them not. They're like down to earth, like relaxed, like, hey man, you good.
Yeah.
The brother, you know, he took us around. He was like, you're not paying for nothing. He made that emphasis on that. He said, look, you ain't paying for this. You know, when we sat and we got the platter and the food and everything, he said, you're not paying.
He said Zawid. Like, dude added a whole big old camel meat.
Right,
I was like, I should
right.
have never said that. I was like, yo, this camel meat good. He said, I got you. Like a whole big old platter in that junk. The brother did mention a little bit about the weather there. And I noticed that, of course, we went there, I think it was during fall.
Right.
But he said you could wear the thobe all year round. Like when it's hot, it's not extremely hot as if you might find up north in Muscat. So that is a plus because you would think, okay, it's burning, of course,
mild weather,
especially Muscat. But he said, you have a mountainous area
Right.
there in Salalah next to the water,
Right.
so the weather is not as extreme as you might think.
Another important point to mention is that the language of Oman is Arabic, of course, and a lot of people know English. So to start off, like you could probably get around just with some English.
Oh, wait, my fault. I don't know about Salalah. Like I didn't speak English at all up in that joint. Everybody spoke Arabic.
Yeah, but
I was only speaking
but that's there. Like the brother's trying to chop it up.
He was trying.
He was trying to do it. He's like, yo, now it's now it's
let's
time
practice.
now it's time to practice my English.
Yeah, he said.
So they learn English. So it's not that you're gonna have this
he
deep
did
conversation
say
in
that,
English. But
They
the
learn
point is like to get around like basic things, you could do that.
So those are our thoughts on Oman, and we also did a series on Qatar. You can check it out here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to share the videos. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.